right, this meeting is called to order.
Do it like this to get closer to you.
4:01.
Is it
All
on?
right, roll call. Ron Harper.
Second.
Kevin Lear. Skip Holley.
Confirmation of notice was the meeting and agenda properly noticed.
Yes.
Is it good?
Yes.
Keep
Can I
going.
get approval of the minutes? Any changes?
Second.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
There are no minutes.
The agenda. I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor? All right, there's no unfinished business. All right, new business. Pete, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, Pete Washenko, 2532 Cypress Point Circle. The rezoning of the multifamily lot, commercial lots on 399, just wanted to, I think we talked about this last meeting, but we just wanted to say again that it's R1 only, so what do you want to do about in the office when someone comes?
I have a couple of questions with that. So,
The county is saying it's only for single family
no, I
residential.
understand that it was rezoned, and so I understand what R1 is and all of that. But with the map that was provided to us,
Right.
we're talking about this right here?
Yep.
Okay. What is there now? Is it just vacant lots or there commercial?
Mostly all vacant lots. I don't think anything's really, I don't know of any.
So there are no commercial buildings there?
No.
Are there any
I don't think there's anything there. Just
duplexes or anything that would constitute commercial?
further on down, I don't think in this block that there's a, I would have to double check to be sure. I think it's nothing visible from 399, but I'd have to double check that.
I don't think there's a commercial building.
Oh, definitely not a commercial. There might be one. This is possibly where the one other mistake was, where it should have been a multifamily house and a single family house was built. It might be in that row somewhere.
Well, I do, in thinking about it,
I have to double check exactly where it is.
there is one metal building that's a shop there, but I don't know if it's
I think that's beyond common.
Yeah, I can go by the look.
maybe.
Well, with the changes, if there is a commercial building there, the county has been grandfathered it in.
As far as I know, from this point forward, it's only going to be R1.
So then there isn't really anything for us to do, because if someone comes in and wants to build a commercial, then we simply provide them. or the
Correct, and
county's
then
not
you'll
gonna
just
take
have to
that
explain to
R1.
the audience why you allow, the architectural allowed them to build a single family residence where it should have been multi-family or something. That's where.
Yes, and I know the covenants state that, and of course to change the covenants if we take an amendment, but we can't.
Right, so I guess basically.
We can be, from my understanding of law, we can be somewhat stricter than the county, but we can't be less restricted than the county. So if the county has said, we are changing the zoning, and they would have gone through their public hearings and it would have been done at a public meeting, that is now R1, we can't turn around and say, well, no, we're gonna let commercial. Because it's now R1, then that supersedes the covenant by default. So the architectural,
So we'll just keep a copy of this in the office.
yes. And if they have any questions, I mean, they're more than welcome to email one of us or.
I think we just want to make it known in the minutes that it's been stated, and this way it's an official record.
Okay.
I think that's advantageous to us. I think it's advantageous to us.
I agree. Okay. Moving on, the new residential structure application to add the model home requirements.
Looks good to me.
Okay.
Me too.
I mean, I don't think it needs a motion because it was approved last time. It states what we asked it to state.
Correct. I just wanted to bring it to you to make sure you could visually see it before we put it into.
Thank you, Pete.
Okay, good. Okay, 6610 Bellingham Street variant for a retro and for a fence, smooth side in on 3 other sides.
Okay, before we begin, it was not clear to me, and maybe it was just the way I read things, has the fence already been installed?
Yes, that's what in retro. means.
That's what I was,
Yeah.
there's just a couple
I
of
thought,
places.
it must have been on final inspection when Shelby went out that she realized that they put 3 sides of it, smooth side in. On the initial application, the initial where it says fence improvements, smooth side out. So they're asking, the homeowner's asking, I believe they're here, but they're asking for a variance to leave it the way it is.
Now,
We-
it's my understanding that y'all have, I mean, it's already been denied by y'all.
Yes.
And that there was a compromise put out that was kind of tentatively agreed between you and the homeowners about them adding additional boards to the outside, placing those smooth side out as a compromise.
That could have been, with Shelby, I wasn't in on that, but yeah,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're not gonna make them take, if they finish it smooth side out on both sides, that's fine with us.
Yeah.
And from my understanding, the individuals who are on the three sides, they didn't have an issue.
As long as, I know that one of them stated if there is any encroachment, then the homeowner had to remedy that.
Yeah, I think that was the builder, right?
Yeah, it was
You know,
whatever.
the builder.
Yeah, but either way, you know what? That doesn't even come into play with us. I mean, I think we keep it the way it is. The only way we'll allow you to go smooth side in is if you have a chain link fence there. Otherwise, it needs to be smooth side out, and that's it. We're not really making exceptions other than that. Just to
Well,
keep
there's
it
no
fair.
hardship involved, other
Right.
than they just did it wrong or did it intentionally wrong.
Are they able,
I know on the side here, these photos on the sides, it looks like they're able to, with some kind of ease, access.
can they do that on the back? Because I know that on my fence, I mean, it's smooth side out, but when we have to go and nail in some of the boards that are loose, sometimes
I
that,
think
that
you can
property
do
is
trouble.
is a bit, no, let me finish. Sometimes, I mean, we have to clear a path along the fence, because on the one side, now one's already built, but the west side, we have to go and clear it so we can actually access the fence. Does that make sense? I know
It
it's
does,
not very
it does.
much
And actually, the
space.
next property has the same problem. He's not asking for this, but he still hasn't done it, the next property that we're gonna talk about. And he built the fence on the line. That's your option, build it on the line so you don't have clearance now. You could have built it 3 feet in and kept it clear, you know what I mean? I don't think it's our responsibility to say that, I think we need to be consistent and just say it needs to be out, otherwise we're gonna get ourselves in trouble. Be consistent, and this way we can't,
The
Can't get in
only,
trouble.
the only question I have, you know, I understand that you want everything to be uniform. But when I put my fence smooth side out, that means the guy next door to me is gonna have a smooth side in fence on one side.
correct?
So there's not consistency anymore because of that.
Mhm.
So, I know it's not in the covenants and, you know, it's just a requirement that the ACC has placed, and I'm assuming some board in the past has approved it. But, I mean, have we approved these things in the past to do them smooth side in or
The only,
smooth side out? Excuse me.
and since I've been in, the only way they approve smooth side in is if there was a chain link fence behind it and you weren't able to nail the boards in. Then they gave the variance for that. I agree with you, it is a problem. If you're the last person, you don't get a fence, and everyone puts up a fence around you, you get the beautiful side
Yeah, it really
fence
depends
all the
on
way
who
around
gets
you.
there first,
Yeah.
on what kind of fence you're getting.
My suggestion to possibly in the future would be to get a fence like a shadow box or something that would be nice on all sides, and then you're going to have this problem.
If this policy was modified for future,
I'm not sure it's policy, it's just, you know, something in, it's
well, if we
application.
put it on the application, it's pretty much policy at that point. That only the side facing the street has to be smooth side out, and then the rest of it is just however you want to put it. I mean, that way you're only affecting, everybody from the street is uniform. But, you know, right now we've got in and out because of just, you know, whether you've had your fence there first.
You do have to watch about corners. Corners.
I sure wouldn't.
I think you open up a can of worms when you do that.
Big key.
Cause I don't want my neighbor building a board fence and me get the other side.
Well, I mean, it's,
I don't have a fence, I want one.
yeah, I mean, you could end up with one, I mean, if somebody built a fence. You know, if you put your fence up, you're gonna have to put the other side in.
Yeah, see, I
And
know
then
that.
you've got a mixture of inside, you know, smooth side and rough side at that point. So, I mean, it seems like a self-defeating purpose, you know, if we're trying to establish a uniformity.
I agree. If you're going that way, you want to be uniform, then demand that you pick from these style fences only. And it'd be double-sided fence, either the vinyl side or a shadow box side. And this way, you're not leaving yourself open, because there's gonna be a ton of people that are going to start screaming at you guys. Who do you pick and choose?
Yeah, and, well, I understand his point, because by default, the individual east of me has smooth siding on
Oh, I
their
agree
ground,
with you.
because
It's a problem,
our
yeah.
lot was built first, and then the lot to the east that was built, so by default, they didn't even have to put up a fence.
Right, they were the lucky ones,
I
they
know,
held
right,
out.
we should.
Yeah, on one side of me, I've got shadow box, the other side, I've got the smooth side. I did have, an issue with the chain link behind me, but I worked with the owner, who was an absentee owner, I got a hold of him. Initially, he was going to allow me to kind of move it out of the way so I could get in there, but once realizing I'm not gonna take chain link down, it's too hard to get back up, so we gave him the smooth side. It probably took us an extra day and a half to two to build it, just because of the antics we had to go through, you know, to get the screws in and things like that.
Right.
But I'm perfectly fine in my mind having the, if you will, the bad side inward. I kind of prefer that. It gives me more options, you know, with throwing things and anything like that, so. I kind of like the idea that we allow the smooth side out. I think that may sound strange, but I think that's neighborly.
And with him, I know he would have to do some cutting to access it. It actually is easier because there isn't anybody there. So he's not on someone else's property.
Yeah.
He's not going into someone's yard. So it would have been easier for him to put a smooth side out.
I think the biggest, if this is the correct one, I think the biggest problem they have is they spent $6,800 to put up this fence and now they have to fix it. You know, and that's why they're asking for the variance. Make sure you know,
So when they, so just to be clear, when they did the application, it was very clear to them that they had to do.
They initialed right where they, yeah.
Just wanna make sure.
Yeah.
Alright, then
And that's exactly why we put those initials there.
I'd like to move that we accept the ACC recommendation to deny the variance. The homeowner shall reverse the pickets or can add additional smooth side out pickets to the exterior of the fence on the three sides in question.
a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next one,
Okay.
2506 Pepper Drive.
Yeah, this is 2506. I don't know if you have the correct address or not. I know originally it was off.
Yeah.
It's 2506 Pepper Drive. Now, this particular one, I still was getting information about it today, and I'm not sure that I'm looking for you to actually vote on it, and I'm going to tell you the reason why. Do you have the pictures of can you see the gazebo? Or I'm not sure what it is. It's a screened-in porch.
Yeah.
Originally, we got the application and they said, the homeowner told us that it was 2 feet from the property line. Now he's coming back and telling us that it's 5 feet from the property line. The 5 feet is at least in code of the county. We didn't entertain the application at all. We didn't even discuss it. 2 feet, we were denied. We didn't even look at it, denied. Now that it's 5 feet, it does fall within the county, not our 6-foot rule that we discussed a couple meetings ago, though. So I was, after thinking about it, I don't know if you want me to bring it back to the ACC and to talk about it, but either way, it's not really pretty.
Now, do they have the outbuilding that they built, and then there's an additional porch on that? I'm looking at the aerial survey, the southern surveys that shows it.
I have some new photographs that you might be better for you.
Now, this property to the north is this where it says owned by the sea?
You can use pictures of him today. And to me,
Now, which building, is that this building here, or is it that building there?
but it seems like it's on the opposite side. It seems like it should be here.
If it's in the wetlands, then there's no question it needs to come down.
Here's the thing, we did not go out and inspect this. This is all original, we caught it, so he has no permit for it.
Yeah.
So we didn't prove anything, we're like.
He doesn't have a county permit?
Yeah, so I was going to
there's
ask,
nothing.
does he have a
So
county?
now he's asking for like a variance, and like, we denied him right out of the gate because he was so close to the property. But forget it, you're not getting it.
Well, he would need to get a county variance before he comes to us, I
This is
think,
the
because
same-
that looks like it is right against
This is the same
fence. Do you
address.
guys wanna see this picture?
I don't know if you could look, but you look closely.
Yeah.
What do you see?
Fence.
The fence. See a smooth side in? This is the same gentleman that has a violation already he tried to get variance, and the board prior to you said, no, you gotta flip it, you gotta go smooth side out. He had the wetland behind him, and he said, well, nobody can be able to see it, I'm the only one that can see it. Again, as I just said, you have to stay consistent, otherwise, the people out there, they're gonna.
That's what I was
How do you pick and choose? You can't pick and choose.
Yeah, it's a slab, so I mean, if it's a slab and he disturbed the wetlands with that slab, man, he's in bigger trouble than Holley by the sea.
So, I'm not sure whether you wanna just deny it, you can do that.
Well,
Yes.
Well, I think we need to deny it because his issues are bigger than Holley by the sea, because it looks like he needs to go to the county and, not just with the wetlands, but.
Even what you just said then, my recommendation is that even if he said it was 5 feet, maybe make the motion to not accept because it is not within our 6-foot setback rule, and leave it at that.
Yeah, but
He's
if
not within our-
if we're going to do that, then we need to verify that it is actually 5 feet.
Right.
Because this,
Does not look at
that looks like it abuts the fence.
Exactly. I
So
agree.
if he,
and I don't believe he built his fence line.
And the feeling I get talking to Shelby feels like she's not giving him, legitimate information. You don't wanna say that he's
so we
misleading her, but
No,
it
no,
seems
no.
that way, so we need to go out for sure and check it. So that's why I don't know, you wanna just table it, or?
well, we can postpone it until next month, but it has to be an on-site inspection.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
And he has
let's
to
go ahead and deny it, and that way, he can go to the county, get it, and then resubmit for variance if he wants.
Well,
And
he
that way
needs
it's
to-
off our plate and off of Shelsky's plate as far as the, pending the variance and being carried over.
Well, it violates our covenants, I don't see why we couldn't, should
Not just that, but I'm more inclined to disapprove it because it violates county as
That
well, it's
too.
not just.
Let me make a motion that
And
we,
if that is a wetland, the county's got a
Yeah.
25%.
I make a motion that, based on the ACC recommendation to deny due to non-compliance with covenants and, Santa Rosa Building Code.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Skip?
Next one,
Right,
25.
Skip?
Yes.
You said aye? Aye.
Why is it not something?
That might have happened to your second at the other meeting.
Okay, 2551 Second Court, Ethiopian parking the driveway long term. So we went through the violation process and we're back to the board again. The ACC brought it to their meeting and we voted to bring it back to you with recommendation to hold usage rights until the code is moved. It's been over 6 months. They do have a long-term parking permit for the backyard.
In his, I had a question regarding, in the dates here on 8/12/2014, it says that he has, long-term storage, but would like to appeal the decision that he can't park in his driveway. That long-term storage, is that off-site?
No, but it's in his backyard.
So that long-term storage is his backyard?
Correct.
Yeah, he has a parking permit for the backyard from the ACC.
Yeah, he didn't, when you read it, he didn't like to use that.
No, that I understood, and I understood that he had permission to park in his backyard, but long-term storage, I was thinking off-site, I wasn't thinking of backyard as storage. I just wanted to verify. And he did mention his neighbors on the Google map.
Yeah, most of his neighbors do not have a problem with
There's
the
one that
parking.
he mentioned that has a boat parked in the yard, or in the drive. Is that listed on this Google map here?
I'm not sure that originally, First Court had one in their driveway. They had one of those long-term parking implied permits, and they have now sold the boat, so that is no longer there.
So that was one of the old grandfather deals.
We don't say that, implied permits.
They're no longer valid grandfather.
That was
deals.
first.
So,
That was first court.
yes, I believe that was corner First Court.
So this is, this is where you can park it, this is where he parks it.
This is where he parks it, yeah, and they've got a gate to be able to get into the backyard, and he's complaining that his neighbors are complaining that he can see his house. But if you look around, I mean,
It's all true.
yeah, you're not gonna see it.
Well, all the neighbors on Cove Road, you can see the boat.
Yeah, anybody driving through there can see it.
Right, I just want to make sure I know this.
Somebody like to make a motion?
I move that, we accept ACC recommendation to not approve variant, long-term parking variance and suspension of usage rights until the boat is permanently stored in accordance with the policy.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now, this is the third board to disapprove this, right?
Yes.
Okay. I know it's been disapproved before.
But the other boards did not suspend usage rights.
They just keep kicking it down the curb.
Yes.
They can.
We kept disapproving his request, but then there was no action taken.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pete.
So you're with Hidden Creek?
Yep.
Last time, didn't put mistakes.
No, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
They have
I thought you were just here to say.
No. It's never one of my hats.
You get the grill now.
John Walden, 2914 PGA Boulevard. We have, 3 items on our agenda. The first one is under old business, 2805 Masters Boulevard. The piece of paper that you have in front of you, there are actually 3 complaints, 3 different violations that have been submitted against this property. The architectural committee and the architectural office has gone as far as they can as far as getting the homeowner to comply. We have sent out all the letters, we sent the mediation letter, there's no response, we've been unable to establish contact. The only thing that, we can't do anything else, and the architectural office can't do anything else, the only thing left to do is to send it to legal. So
Is this the one where the wife has been in contact that says she has nothing to do with the house because of a divorce issue or
No.
something?
No, this is the one at the end of the driving range that was the owners that lived there, both have passed away, and as I understand it, there's a daughter that is taking care of the property now. There's multiple issues, the roof, well, if you look at the pictures that you have, the roof.
That gray house.
With the pink.
That's right.
It's the one with the pink roof right at the end of the driving range. So the first house on the right-hand side if you're going south on Masters.
So there's 2 violations for roof maintenance?
Well, no, there's 3 violations. You got,
The mailbox and then
yeah.
2 for the roof? I just got this afternoon, so you're gonna.
Okay, there are 3 violations, 3 different violations for roof maintenance. Mediation letters have been sent, there's been no response. We've gone to, I don't know exactly what they call it, but the letter that the attorney used to send out, that we now send out, those have all been sent. And at this point in time, there is no contact.
Do you know if there's a probate issue currently going on, or if it's hung up somewhere in the courts already?
We don't know that. We have no way of finding that out. The architectural office has gone as far as they can, as far as all the letters they can send, as far as the contact they can try to make, and we're back to recommending sending it to legal, and it will be up to you folks.
Yeah, I pass this pretty much every day, and it looks like it's, I mean, obviously it looks, I don't wanna say abandoned, but that's, I've gotten the impression, and that's been since I've been here, and that was 2009, but it looks like no one lives there.
I do not know if the daughter lives there. She visits sometimes, I know that, but the man and woman who lived there both passed away.
So what is her intent to do with this property?
She has not communicated
She's
that
just
to
not.
us, so that's why we're coming to you, is we can't get answers to anything we send. So
Are they delinquent in their assessments?
I do not believe so. But I don't know that. In fact, I should probably check that.
Aside from the pink, it looks like it was a nice house the whole time.
It was one of the original houses on Masters, and so it's one of the older ones, and it's been subjected to a lot of damage, and I'll talk to you about that later.
With the golf balls?
Yes.
Yes,
So anyway, our proposal for this is, since we've gone as far as we can, the office has gone as far as we can, we're recommending you send it to legal.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that, we take the Hidden Creek Estates ACC recommendation and send it to legal on all 3 issues.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the second issue, 6969 Turnberry, is a similar situation. Multiple attempts have been made to contact these people. Nobody lives in the house right now. To the best of my knowledge, it's in foreclosure. We have, there's a company called AltaSource that has a notice on the door, says contact us if, you know, any questions about this property. That doesn't work because when you contact the number they give you, what you get is their collection agency part of their business that basically says, you know, we don't have any information about that.
Because that house is currently for sale, I think.
I did not see a for sale sign on it.
I've seen a listing for it.
It
in the
may be
recent
listed,
past.
but it's, you know where it is, it's right on the, it's
Yeah.
right on the turn for Turnberry. You
Yeah.
know, where there's
On
a
the
horseshoe
non-golf
turn.
course, yeah, across the street.
And the problem with it is, at one time, one of the owners used to do kind of a unofficial daycare kind of center in there and had children in there, so they got a permission years and years ago to put up that privacy fence. Well, the privacy fence is in, basically, if you look at it, in total disrepair. They still have the remnants of tarps on the roof for previous storm damage, so you can guess how long that's been going on.
Yeah, the tarp's been gone for about a year.
The tarp is finally blown off, yeah, but you can see where it was attached to the roof if you look at the pictures that you have. And so once again, this is gone, there's been multiple letters sent. The architectural committee, or the architectural office has gone to all the lengths they can go to. So once again, our only option is to recommend that you send that one to legal also.
Now, my notes say that the homeowner is deceased, is that the case?
For this one, for Turnberry, I have no knowledge of that. There's nobody living there, and basically, I believe it's
That was originally from the information I got from Shelby. I had taken it off of the one that I was using today.
so anyway, this, our recommendation is that you also send that one to legal.
I make a motion to approve the Hidden Creek ACC recommendation to send this to legal on all 3 matters.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the last item I have is, doesn't call for a vote, it's a kind of a recommendation or an appeal from us for some kind of direction as to where to go. And it goes back to the Masters item. That house is the most egregious example of damage resulting from the golf course. There are other houses along Masters over the years that have complained about damage, etc. To the best of my knowledge, we do not have any kind of what I would call a formal relationship with the golf course. Okay? The architect, we don't have any authority from any board to represent the board in discussions with the golf course. Okay? To me, it would probably be something that would come under the purview of the external vice president, but I think we should have some kind of a formal interface with them. So far, what we've gotten is one of the members of the architectural committee has gone over and talked to the general manager informally, and the answer that we got was, well, we'll put signs up telling the people that are hitting golf balls that if they break anything, it's their responsibility. Well, personally, if I was the person living at 2805 Masters and you were sending me a legal for not repairing the damage, I would be asking you, well, what kind of help would you give me with the golf course to get them to do something about this? I mean, there are various things they could do, but I don't know that we've ever talked to them about it.
Several years ago, I was driving on Masters and my car was hit and it dented my door. Now this was before Holley Water System owned it. And I went round and round with the owner for about 6-7 months, and his answer was, no, we're not doing anything about it. Now, and I didn't live there. Now, I've always understood that if a person lives on a golf course, they're assuming the responsibility for damages, given that it's a golf course.
That's what people would like you to believe.
And I had asked them.
That is not true.
And I had asked them about putting up some sort of net in order to prevent the balls from going. Now, they weren't inclined to do that. Now, with Holley Water System, it might be better to approach them because they're the owners, so to approach maybe the Holley Water System.
I understand that, but what I'm suggesting is we have nobody with any authority to do that. We can't speak for you because we haven't been designated to do that. And I'm suggesting that that should be something that comes under the purview of the external vice president. If he wants to form a committee that happens to be members of the architectural committee, but we should have some kind of approval to talk to them and actually be representing Holley.C, not just going in there and talking informally to them as people that live on the golf course.
Well, Rod, do you want to do that, or would you rather appoint someone from the Hidden Creek?
I think really the Hidden Creek ACC, if they wish to do that, I certainly.
Well, okay,
Who's
I'm not
on
saying,
your
okay, I would be more than, you know me, I'd be more than happy to get myself involved in something.
And who's
but
on your board? You and who else?
It's me, and it's Bill Hardy, and it is Skip Hardenberg. Skip Hardenberg is the chairman. I am only filling in for him because he's not here at this point in time, but we only have 3 people on the committee. Bill and I talked about this, and this is kind of our discussion to you folks. We think something ought to be done.
Of you 3, which one is the most diplomatic?
Not me.
This might take a little bit of finessing.
Yes, that was a good question. I'm glad you asked that. I would be the least diplomatic.
But I think if Skip and one of the members from the ACC together, approached it, that way there would be some authority to make a decision, or at least to speak for the board.
Okay, but I'm not letting you guys off the hook. I want you
He's
guys.
saying,
No, I said
he's
Skip.
saying Skip
Oh,
is
Skip,
in.
not your
Yeah,
Skip,
okay.
our Skip.
I thought maybe you were talking about Skip Hardenberg.
No, I'm talking about our Skip.
Okay, but yes, I think that's what we ought to do. We ought to have some kind of official blessing from the board that if we go and talk to those people, we are actually representing the board and we're not just individuals representing ourselves.
Yeah, I see, how do I put it? Because you live out there and probably use a facility, I kind of see it, they look at you kind of this way. I don't want to say down, but.
Well, I'll give you a good
your
for
level.
instance, okay?
But at the same time, if someone from the board, say myself, comes,
Yes.
that raises the level.
Well, I'll give you, and I'll tell you why this makes sense. I heard what you said, if you live on a golf course, then you assume all responsibilities. There's been plenty of lawsuits that have proven that's not true.
There was nothing in my deed that stated that. There was nothing in my deed that stated it.
It's kind of like an old wives' tale that's been told so many times people actually believe it. But the golfers themselves are the primary people that are responsible for damage. But if you're driving down the road and somebody whacks you with a golf ball and damages your car, because you're driving by the golf course doesn't let them off the hook.
See, and I went there immediately and talked to the general manager,
But you would, really what you have to do is what they'll tell you is you have to catch the guy to hit the golf ball. Okay? And that's what they kinda tell you is, well, we're not responsible for the golfer that hit your house. The golfer is responsible.
See, and that might be the same problem, because if you're not home and you have people golfing and then you come home and your window's broken or something, then who do you prove?
What I'm suggesting is there are multiple things they can do, and they've actually even talked about doing them, but we don't know how serious they are as far as it. Okay, there's been talks about rearranging that driveway so it faces away from Masters.
It wouldn't be that hard for them to turn it 20 degrees.
Well, there's been talk about all kinds of things that they could do. I mean, one of the easiest things you could do is plant a stand of poplar trees at the end. They grow in about half a minute.
Let
And
me
they
ask
grow
you,
to
is
about
it-
30 feet tall.
It's just the driving range, so when people are actually playing golf on the, I don't know what they're called, the lanes, the fairways, is there an issue with homes that are built on the golf
Generally
course?
not. Most of the people who own the golf course don't get upset if they end up with a golf ball in their yard or one bounces off their roof. The people who own a golf course do accept that kind of thing. But what I'm talking about is if you've got a home on Masters that's getting constantly bombarded by golf balls, and it's not just that house with the pink roof, there's a house across the street that has all plexiglass windows because they've had so many broken.
Have they, I remember a conversation before, was there talk of putting a net up?
Yeah, but the interesting thing is, Holley by the Sea, Hidden Creek Estates was against that at one point in time.
Yeah, I can see
I talked
homeowners
to
on
Pete
Masters.
Peterson, and he said that was not happening, and then I talked to the golf, I went to the whole route.
Yeah, I can see, if I lived right across the street and was kind of looking at that big fence, big net every day.
Yeah,
would
so
be-
I mean, that was proposed a long time ago, and even, I'm saying, we turned around and said we didn't want to do that, but it would be nice to know, like, for instance, they have talked about changing the direction of that driveway. Okay. Is there any kind of official commitment? Is there something in their building plan, something in their long-term plan that we could tell our members when they say, hey, help us out, they're.
Listen, I don't golf or anything, but are there trees that would be somewhat high enough that they could plant that would create a natural barrier?
Well, I'm familiar with like poplar trees, they grow like 30 feet tall in like almost no time.
It
Yeah,
probably
some kind
wouldn't
of
stop
cedar or
everything, but
something,
might
yeah.
mitigate it as an alternative.
Yeah, well, part of the problem is, when that golf course was built 20 years ago, golf equipment and golf balls were a total different, how should I say, engineering deal.
You couldn't hit a ball as far as doing that.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you have, years ago, professionals would hit it 250 yards. The average golfer wouldn't come anywhere close to that. With the new equipment and the new balls, hell, any 20-year-old kid can hit it 250 yards.
You're saying even I, a total novice, could hit it 250 yards?
You get
Well,
it.
if you could, well, you probably could, you're athletic enough. But what I'm saying is, years ago when that was built, that wasn't a concern because the equipment and the balls was very seldom that would happen. Now, like I said, any 20-year-old kid can hit a ball 250 yards. But there's things they can do, and we could ask them. And that's my discussion item.
So Skip will get in touch with your Skip, to get in touch with, you can start with the general manager, or maybe just go straight to Holley Water, because any changes. we have to
Holley
make sure
Water
by them.
Water is kind of a strange deal. They own the golf course, but they treat it as a separate entity.
But they hire the manager, or, they
They-
oversee it, so.
They oversee it.
The general manager there might have to go to them, but you
He
could,
would.
you could
The
start.
general manager would reports to the general manager of the water department, okay? So at any rate, that's our recommendation, and I'm done.
I think we ought to lay the groundwork.
Yeah. Well, Skip will can you give Skip, your Skip's information?
information, yeah.
And then
I'll
our
skip over to
Skip
the-
will let us know next month if there's any
Right, I'll
progress.
be on it.
And Skip, if you need a backup, I'll be happy to go with you.
Well,
If you need somebody with
Go ahead.
be good.
Oh, that's right, or, you know,
Yeah.
you can, yes. So open forum? Where's my thing, Patricia?
Your 3 minutes, I think there's the prior board.
No, it's
Patricia Hogue, 2792 Camden. I went to the last ACC meeting and you were not there. They said they gave the whole 6701 Castlewood file to you. And they're no longer involved, according to the people in the committee meeting. I'm here about the fence. What's the status? I see all these letters. July 6th, which was 34 days after the deadline of the application, is given another 15 days to fix the fence. Another letter, July 30th, he was given another 15 days to fix the fence. So everything has expired.
It's not that the architectural staff has been removed entirely, but we met with him. When I say we, meaning Shelby and I met with the owner, and we discussed the 3 issues, and he said there was some back and forth with regards to the fence, and then there were some subsequent emails, so it's not been resolved completely. What the recommendation, I'm not sure, did you get the email with regards to the recommendation with the fence? Was that discussed with her?
The email he sent
Where?
asking that we fix the fence, is that the email?
Because the fence, are we able to discuss this?
I've got the whole file, so I can.
No, I understand, but I just wanna make sure that we can we discuss this in an open meeting? Cause I'm more than happy to sit with you.
Probably not, you probably should.
Okay, so after the meeting, can I sit down with you?
Sure.
Okay. And we'll do all 3 issues then.
So there's an email I'm missing?
I'm not sure what you have, so I can see what you've got, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
May I see prior to that? Because I have a recommendation on this. No, I mean.
He wants to be
prior
involved
you
in
meeting
the
with-
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, you had this, okay, I think you had something to say. Yeah, okay. Alright, so any other business? I make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
And time is 4:44.
This meeting is adjourned.